statesman says the suspect was neutralized, having refused to halt after several warning shots and orders by the soldiers. The statement further added that troops at Mamanti also intercepted and neutralized 2 female suicide bombers who tried to attack the village last Sunday, while another female suicide bomber was intercepted on Monday between Chimari and No Man's Land at about 2 o'clock in the morning. The public has again been requested to assist in the fight against terrorism by providing information to the military and other security agencies in averting suicide bombings and atrocities by remnants of the Boko Haram terrorists. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Army Wednesday 19th July 2017 intercepted 37 people suspected to be wives and children of Boko Haram terrorists after they escaped from the insurgents' custody. A statement by the Director, Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Sani Usman, indicates that 30 of the escapees were intercepted on Tuesday at Gujba local government area of Yobe State, comprising 8 women and 22 children. On preliminary interrogation, the suspects claimed to have escaped from Boko Haram terrorist custody at Kafa and Abagajiri in Damboa local government area of Borno State. The escapees are currently being screened and profiled. Well, Lagos is our first stop on Nationwide. Let's join Jennifer now for more reports. Over to you, Jennifer.
Thank you, Ogwa. Good evening and a warm welcome to Lagos. Now, motorists commuting between the mainland and island of Lagos have continued to spend hours on end in traffic, following further deterioration of the failed portion on Eko Bridge. Abolade Salami, who revisited the situation, interacted with some Lagosians who are increasingly getting frustrated by the state of the road.
Constructed between 1965 and 1975 with an extension of 1,350 meters, Eko Bridge, which starts from Ijora area of the mainland and terminates at the Akpongbo area of the island, serves dual purposes for vehicles coming from Ikorodu en route Alaka to Apapa and the island. With over 4 decades in full utilization without major maintenance work, a portion of the bridge at Ikmori area has caved in, thereby resulting to gridlock. The bad spot, which has now become a source of worry to motorists plying the route, is begging for urgent attention.
The congestion is just too much on the bridge here. Yeah. So I think if the government can do something about it, we'll be happy about it,
All the time, this is what we encounter here. The traffic is always congested here. There are spots on this bridge that are very bad. And I believe the government should take it upon itself to restore it to a very good state. It will ease the traffic.
Meanwhile, all efforts to get the Federal Minister of Works to comment on the state of the bridge proved abortive. It's been observed that articulated vehicles now park on the bridge without considering the weights of their trucks to the bridge.
The other is because of those trailers and the joint there that is not good.
In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
That's all from Lagos at this hour. Back to Ogwa in Abuja for more. Please stay tuned.
Thank you, Jennifer. Moving on now, 18th of July every year has been designated as Nelson Mandela International Day, a day created by member states of the United Nations to look at prison conditions and promote humane conditions of imprisonment. Femi Okewo reports on this year's day in Nigeria.
The day, which was created in 2015, is named after Nelson Mandela in recognition of the South African leader who overcame imprisonment for about 27 years and went on to build a new society grounded on justice and reconciliation. It is a day instituted with the aim of promoting humane prison conditions and to raise awareness about prisoners being a continuous part of society and to value the work of prison staff as a social service of particular importance, the message which Controller General of Prisons pushed across to his staff in Abuja.
The Nigerian Prison Service and Nigeria itself is working in conformity with the standard minimum rules. But we will continue as a service to strive even higher.
Country representative of the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime in Nigeria, Christina Abatin, presented the United Nations minimum rules for the treatment of prisoners, otherwise known as the Mandela Rules, to various personalities in the justice sector at a function in Abuja.
On Nelson Mandela Day, UNODC will continue to confront these challenges and turn the powerful words of the Nelson Mandela Rules into bold and committed action.
In Abuja, Femi Okewo, NTA News.
The Cross River State government, in response to the plight of Bakassi returnees, has presented relief materials worth millions of naira to the displaced persons. The presentation was done at the temporary IDP camp at the Bakassi Local Government Secretariat. Umo Obasi Edit reports.
The Bakassi returnees who were recently ejected forcefully from the Cameroon have not only been thrown into untold hardship, but have also lost their means of livelihood. The Cross River State government, through the State Emergency Management Agency, SEMA, says it would not relent in its efforts to find a lasting solution to their challenges.
This one is like first aid. This small one, when they come so, they cannot manage them well. It is only when you're able to manage it well that the bigger one will come. Peace should be maintained in the camp. You people should be law-abiding. But the Cross River State government cares. That's why we are here. Because, of course, you guys know that it is not just Cross River State people who are driven out of Cameroon. River State people are here. Bayelsa are here. Delta is here. Akwa Ibom is here. Ebonyi State is here. And so all of you today belong to Cross River State. You're children of Cross River State. So I beg you that all of you should be careful about what you're doing.
Managing Director, Cross River State Food Bank Commission, Dr. Mercy Akpama, said the welfare of the displaced persons remains a priority to the state government.
Our brothers and sisters who are from here, be your brother's keeper. It is not easy to just live like that. No pot, no spoon. Let us pity them and help them.
The Bakassi returnees, who are indigenous from various states including Rivers, Delta, Bayelsa, Akwa Ibom and Cross River, are hopeful that the federal government will join us to end their suffering soon. From Bakassi local government area of Cross River State, Umo Basidate, NTA News.
And back in Abuja, following frequent cases of conflicts arising from interstate and country boundary disputes, field officers and state resident surveyors are meeting in Abuja on how to be proactive. The meeting is at the instance of the Surveyor General of the Federation, Ebisinte Awudu, and has also been attended by surveyors from different federal ministries and the National Assembly. Mie Ogidi reports.
Intra and interstate boundary disputes leading to clashes has been a recurring issue across the country. Even at the international level, Nigeria and the Cameroons had such dispute over the Bakassi Peninsula. It is to address such disputes and stop destruction of lives and property that this meeting is holding to properly educate and equip surveyors who have a significant role to play in preventing such disputes.
So these guys that are very experienced in boundary definition, either it's Nigeria boundary definition or interstate boundary definition, they will be in better position to give to the trainee the requisite first order or first phase training on how to approach boundary making.
Apart from imbibing professional and technology-based surveying to map out borderlines, the obsolete nature of laws governing the surveying industry is another hindrance identified to be a stumbling block. The National Assembly seems prepared to put things right.
Introduce appropriate legislation to make sure that the role and relevance of surveying and its consequential effect in boundary management is brought to fruition.
These surveyors will be busy for the next 5 days in Abuja, exchanging ideas with the target of rising up to the occasion in putting to an end boundary disputes in Nigeria. Mie Ogede, NTA News.
Well, experts in the agricultural sector say efforts are being intensified for farmers to gain from climate change so as to guarantee food security in Nigeria. Talatu Ezirike reports that experts were on NTA's Current Affairs program Tuesday Live, which focused on agriculture, food security and climate change.
Agriculture globally guarantees food security and contributes greatly to the gross domestic product (GDP). However, the issue of climate change has been of concern to many in Nigeria, as the adverse effect of drought, erosion and flooding are leading to low or poor agricultural yields. This is further compounded by the 2017 seasonal rainfall predictions that the current flooding situations in many parts of the country can lead to poor crop production and harvest this year.
We are scared. We might not really have sufficient food supply this year.
Analysts, however, say there is no cause to worry as the right steps are being taken by the federal government to revamp the agricultural sector for local food sufficiency and exports.
We are lucky to have a man who is passionate about agriculture. This explained why we are still implementing the National Agricultural Resilience Policy. Livestock farmers should try and insure their farms.
We are planning to make the Bank of Agriculture the Farmers Bank.
All right.
And also learning from the experience of the Agric Bank of China that has over 800 million clients. We are targeting 50 million clients.
Farmers have to be advised more on when they have to plant. You have many Nigerian agencies that are deep in meteorology, and they've been doing a good job. But what remains now is to get that information to diffuse to farmers in rural areas.
There are much more, especially with the provision of extension workers, fertilizers and seedlings.
Research institutes have really come out with very, very good materials that are climate-smart seeds. Rice, for example, we have flood-tolerance rice now, developed from Erie, which are actually acceptable and adaptable here.
Welcome what is happening today because there are more farmers now in Nigeria. This is the ceiling availability of food that we have because of the attraction of agriculture to every Nigerian today.
Event watchers strongly believe that Nigerians' land will continue to be green with bumper harvest. Talati Ezirike, NTA News.
We would like to remind you that you can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. You're watching Nationwide. We now take a break for some messages. The news continues shortly.
Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, invites all state commissioners, permanent secretaries and directors of information, professionals and stakeholders in the information sector to the second Extraordinary National Council on Information. Theme: Hate Speeches, Fake News and National Unity. Chief Host, Right Honorable Barrister Simon Bako Lalong, Executive Governor of Plateau State. Date: 20th to 21st July 2017. Venue: Eliel Center, Gold and Base, Jos, Plateau State. Time: 8 a.m. prompt. Program of events: Thursday, 20th July, 12 noon to 6 p.m. Arrival and registration of participants: Friday, 21st July, 8:30 to 9 a.m. Registration continues Friday, 21st July, 9:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Council meeting: Hussaini W. Daya, Acting Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Information and Culture. Announcer.
Many Nigerian children cannot afford to go to school because they live in poverty. Instead of enjoying education and its benefits, they get involved in street trading to help themselves and their families survive. The Rochas Foundation is a humanitarian organization which currently caters for over 15,000 less privileged children in various schools all over Nigeria. The foundation has a goal to take thousands of less privileged children off the streets and provide them with free quality education from secondary school to the university as part of her Vision 2030. Admission forms are free and available online and at all Rochas Foundation colleges at Owerri, Jos, Ibadan, Kano, Enugu, Sokoto, Yola, Bauchi, Zaria and Oboko. For further details, visit www.rochasfoundation.org. Rochas Foundation, we educate to empower.
Now, you can hold that dream occasion without stress. Horizon Caterers will provide answers to all your catering questions. Exquisite hall designs, mouth-watering and nourishing local and continental cuisine, suitable for all types of ceremonies, including weddings, AGMs, business luncheon, cocktails. Name it, we can bring it. Our chefs and executive waiters give your guests that unforgettable experience in service. Our service covers all states of the Federation. Call us today to book your occasions. 0805-502-9637, 0803-450-9726, 0909-9708-111. Horizon Caterers, experience catering beyond the horizon.
The Future Assured project of the wife of the president, Aisha Muhammad Buhari, is carrying out free medical screening and distribution of food items at various IDP camps while ensuring the economic empowerment of women through training and skill acquisition. In recognition of her efforts, wives of governors have lent their voices and support.
In Kogi State, we feel the impact of Future Assured, especially in women and children.
The Future Assured program of Mrs. Aisha Muhammad Buhari, the wife of the president, has been very assuring and still reassuring in Sokoto State. It has impacted positively in the areas of humanity, especially women and children.
Supports the Future Assured initiative. Email programs@futureassured.org.ng. Future Assured, promoting and protecting the lives of Nigerian women and children.
Sharon Ultimate Hotels, Abuja, the ultimate place to be. You fall victim because you care about saving a little money.
When I'm not blind, I'm not stupid. I'm here to cross over and take Sole, ferry ship.
You fall victim because you care about your car.
What is it? Smoke, smoke.
They cash in on your fear.
Dangerous with this, so then they rob people, they keep it for years.
And they point. This week, your rib-cracking comedy, Professor John Bull, dwells on roadside wars of the people in this episode titled Point and Kill. We are not talking about fish. Beware.
This is impetuous. This is prodigious. This is wondrous.
And laugh like never before.
How dare you enter my house without at least knocking?
Why are you trying to become my dear sweet professor?
I am sweet Abednego.
Over and out.
Brought to you by Glow.
The largest data network. Glow Unlimited.
Thank you for staying tuned. The news continues now. The prevalence of hate comments in Nigeria broadcast media organizations and its consequences on national development is the focus of discussion at a one-day summit organized by the National Broadcasting Commission. The summit, which has as theme broadcast content development and peaceful coexistence, assembled key players in the broadcast industry to x-ray their role and proffer solutions. Abba Abubakar Yakubu reports.
The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, told broadcast media organizations to checkmate the influx of hate comment in their broadcast content. The minister, represented by the State Director, National Orientation Agency, Mr. Bulus David, said just like junk food is harmful to the body, so does junk information. It has the capability of harming national peace and coexistence.
We shall continue to create the right policy environment for media content development generally in our country in order to confront the evil of negative media, all forms of terrorism.
The Director General, National Broadcasting Commission, Malam Ishaq Modibakau, says the Commission put together the summit to create awareness among broadcast media organizations on the dangers of hate speech and other violent pro-media content in the society.
Where there is a persistent violation of the Nigerian Broadcasting Code, especially in respect to hate speech, that can disrupt the good order of Nigeria, NBC has the power to close down such stations.
In a keynote presentation, former Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, Dr. Tony Iridia, who blamed the media for being biased in their reportage, charged them to avoid feeding their audience with what they want, but what is good for the country.
Media must accept that it has an obligation. It must come out of its shell and recognize that nobody needs to mobilize it. It has to do the job for itself.
The Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, says the police will continue to partner with the NBC to ensure strict compliance with broadcast rules and regulations. In their goodwill messages, Chairman Senate Committee of Information and National Orientation, Suleiman Aduki, and his counterpart from the House of Representatives, Mr. Timothy Golu, described the summit as apt and advised broadcast media organizations to check comments, actions, and tendencies that could endanger peace and unity of the nation. The Director General of NTA, Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, and that of FRCN Mansur Liman, and other speakers, including the former Executive Director of Programs of the NTA, Mrs. Ijunia Abu, made contributions on how to improve on content and manage sensitive information in reportage and programming. In Jos, Abba Abubakar Yakubu, NTA News.
University of Jos inducts 99 pharmacy graduates. These and more as we go over to our Jos studio. And Caleb is our guide. Hello, Caleb. Good to see you.
To work towards ensuring effective dissemination of information that will complement the efforts of government at strengthening peace and unity. This was contained in a 35-point communique issued at the end of 2017 National Summit organized by the National Broadcasting Commission in Jos. Abubakar Yakubu has more.
The communique contained that honest and open broadcast content and robust media strategy are required to further explain policies for better understanding of the citizens. It also captured the importance of national identity and its promotion, which need to be injected as part of the strategy for production and management of broadcast content in Nigeria. The summit advised the media to always ensure objectivity and fairness, as well as avoid propaganda. Media in Nigeria should therefore follow the example of the world standard by creating programs that preach unity and peaceful coexistence. Media has also been charged to stop making headlines for mundane issues, but rather project essence of development and sensitive to the sensibilities of people. Participants further expressed the need for political class to desist from putting pressure on media practitioners, which effect credible and unbiased programming.
If we can use the content that comes from the NTA to change the perception of the people positively, rather than using adversarial journalism, that will greatly enhance peaceful coexistence.
Well, no matter how much is going to pay for commercials, no matter how much is going to put in the pocket of a journalist that will not promote the interests of the country, it should not even be given any opportunity, 1 second on air.
And there are messages that can have lasting experience with whoever is being passed on to. So I think that our role as broadcasters, first, is to integrate accept the core values that are being taught here.
About 300 participants from various organizations attended the summit, which featured 6 different paper presentations. In Jos, Abba Abubakar Yakubu, NTA News.
Traditional rulers in 4 local government areas of Kaduna State have expressed confidence and optimism that sustainable peace will soon be achieved in view of strategies put in place by the Nigerian Armed Forces. They made this known when they received the Commander Operation Safe Haven, Major General Rogers Nicholas, on advocacy visits to their domains located in southern Kaduna. Again, Abba Abubakar Yakubu has the details.
The visit by the Commander of Operation Safe Haven, Major General Rogers Nicholas, alongside security personnel drawn from the Nigeria Mobile Police, Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, and Directorate of State Security Service, were at the palaces of Etun Numana II, Chief of Kaguru, Chief of Marwa, Emir of Jama'a, Agom Bajidi First, and Pope Gon of Kaguma, as part of the strategies to ensure the success of their mandates.
So it's also a tool of gathering intelligence and information, and also negotiating and dialoguing. When we have issues, they are very important to play with, so we consider it very important in peacemaking and peace building.
The traditional rulers appreciated the courage and commitment of the commander, as well as prayed for the success of the operation.
Right from the beginning of the appointment in this area, it was just like a dream, but a pleasant dream. We started to experience peace.
What I have read about you, I don't have an iota of doubt in my mind that in the next couple of weeks or months, all this will be happening around our environment will all go.
They also promised to accord him all the support needed to share intelligence to achieve peace and security in southern Kaduna and Nigeria at large. From southern Kaduna, Abba Abubakar Yakubu, NTA News.
The Registrar, Pharmacist Council of Nigeria, Elijah Mohammed, has challenged the newly inducted pharmacist of the University of Jos to work in accordance with the code of the profession. It was at the 40th induction ceremony of graduates. Ashezi Gopep reports.
These promising young men and women are now fit to compete favorably with their colleagues in all areas of practice. Mr. Mohammed, who was represented by the head of Education and Training, Pharmacists Council of Nigeria, Dr. Anthony Idoko, noted that the council frowns at professional misconduct.
Pharmacists today remain legally responsible for the safe and accurate dispensing of medication, most especially ethical medicine.
Vice Chancellor of the University of Jos, Professor Sebastian Memoko, said the university, as part of its strategic plan, will continue to contribute to the training of quality human capital to meet the healthcare needs of the nation's.
Training has positively equipped you with the requisite knowledge and skills needed to effectively tackle the challenges of pharmacy practice.
Other speakers at the ceremony, including the Dean, Pharmaceutical Sciences, University of Jos, Professor Jacob Kolawole, as well as the keynote speaker, Mr. Matthew Asuji, all urged the inductees to be worthy ambassadors of the faculty and the university by maintaining high standards of professionalism, ethics, and dedication to duty. Those who distinguished themselves in both character and learning were awarded, with Idoko John Oga as the best graduating student after backing most of the awards. In Jos, Ashezi Gopep, NTA News.
Vivian, Jos is done. It's back to you.
Thank you, Caleb. Moving on now, for a friction-free political atmosphere, a compelling need for constant dialogue between elected representatives and their constituents has been advocated. This was the focus of the National Orientation Agency organized town hall meeting in Ibadan. Shola Wahid reports.
State Director of National Orientation Agency, Dolapo Dosunmu, explained that the reason for the meeting is to create a platform for political stakeholders to engage their representatives on their achievements as legislators and bridge the gap between the legislators and their communities of the constituencies.
To be able to decide or measure whether it's actually representing them properly or not.
It was therefore an opportunity for the people of the constituency to ask questions on the performance of the legislator representing them at the Oyo State Assembly. Member Oyo State House of Assembly Ademola Akimigi explained that he has executed various developmental projects and also empowered some individuals to be self-reliant.
I want to thank the National Orientation Agency that packaged this program. It's an avenue for us, this elective officer, to showcase our achievements.
Stakeholders expressed their views on the forum.
No one can do everything, but I think he has tried his best.
The interaction was also meant to facilitate peaceful dialogue on developmental issues between the legislators and their constituents. In Ibadan, Shola Wahid, NTA News.
The Minister of State for Health, Dr. Osage Hanire, says the creation of a special scale and allocation of 20% of the nation's paying salaries of health workers are all efforts of the federal government towards countering migration of health workers from Nigeria. He stated this at the 3rd National Human Resources for Health Conference going on in Abuja. Chidimma Ndubisi reports.
According to available statistics, Nigeria has one of the largest stock of human resources for health. This is obvious going by the number of medical graduates being turned out by numerous health institutions nationwide. But while the global community between 2010 and 2015 maintained above 85% of doctor-to-patient coverage, Nigeria surprisingly maintained only 66%, with health workers' density put at 0.4 doctors over 1,000 population, as well as 1.6 nurses and midwives over 1,000 population. This has resulted in severe shortages of required skilled health workers in rural and conflict areas. Recognizing that frontline workers are critical in the current federal government's program of revitalizing 10,000 primary health care centers in the country, the focus at this gathering is on finding ways of strengthening human resources for health.
The goal of primary health care revitalization is to ensure that quality basic health care service is delivered to a majority of Nigerians where they live. This can only be achieved if the right number of personnel with the right skills are located in the right places.
To harvest the community health workers that are already existing, the village health workers, the community health volunteers, bring them together, train them, and make sure that they help us to be able to reach out to mothers in terms of tracking mothers to assess maternal and child health.
Sure that in Nigeria we have necessary, the required human resources for it, stipulated by World Health Organization.
Health experts are of the opinion that sustainable financing and continuous capacity building of the workforce are needed to ensure quality service delivery and achievement of universal health coverage. In Abuja, Chimdemma Ndubisi, NTA News.
And away from health matters, the consideration of the Diaspora Commission by the present administration is an effort to bridge development in Nigeria. Salihu Abdullahi reports that discussants on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria equally solicit support to clear all bottlenecks to ensure effective implementation of the Nigerian Diaspora Commission, as well as fast-track the passage of the Diaspora Voting Bill.
Nigerians in diaspora constitute a significant number that, when fully harnessed, will among others strengthen the country's bilateral relationship and create content for internal development. Maximizing the potentials of Nigerians in the diaspora, the guests say demand more collaboration among the three tiers of government, acknowledging that Nigeria's federal system of government is an advantage.
The massive technology and intellectual property is there. The only problem we find is that there is no simple organism to harness those intellectual property, because it is intellectual property that can be now used to develop
our country. With this diaspora commission now, you will have a sector that deals with that, will deal directly with the diasporans out there, and they're here at home. They know where how to manage this inflow that is coming. We talked about the plugging the infrastructure and the security.
But again, let's look at it that as much as the acting president generously and with thanks has approved the commission, we look forward to the commission being established, composed immediately, rather than having any delay into months before we now say the organization has become real. Where is the office going to be? We need this to be done within the shortest time, in fact within months, rather than long process of waiting.
Earlier this month, Acting President Yemi Osibanjo has assented to Nigerians in Diaspora Commission Establishment Bill 2017 to be under the supervisory jurisdiction of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
Imo State government empowers youth. These and more as we join Beauty in our Enugu Center. Hello, Beauty.
It's a delight to see you and a very warm welcome to Enugu. Enugu State Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi has assured of his administration's commitment to maintaining partnership with the Nigerian Air Force in the areas of security and education to enhance the development of the state. The governor stated this when he received the Air Officer Commanding Ground Training Command Enugu, Air Vice Marshal Samson Apasa at Government House Enugu. Ijoma Agweke has details of that report.
Governor Ugwuanyi, while congratulating the Air Vice Marshal, who recently resumed duty as the pioneer commander of the newly established Ground Training Command of the Nigerian Air Force, Enugu, applauded the good working relationship that exists between the Air Force and the state government.
As a government, we always maintain and enjoy the cordial working relationship with the Nigerian Air Force and assisted us in many areas of necessity, more especially security and education.
The Air Vice Marshal, who is seeking cooperation of the state government in kickstarting activities at the command, informed the governor that he has 9 units under the command spread across the country. The functions of the command, he said, is mainly capacity building on how best to ensure the realization of security in the country.
Air Force, through a careful and well thought out decision, decided to come back in a bigger way, considering the fact that previous and existing governments have always had very cordial relationship with the Air Force.
The Air Vice Marshal Apasa was accompanied on the visit by top officers from the Air Force Base, Enugu. In Enugu, Ijomu Gweke, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Enugu State government has reiterated its commitment to ensuring lasting solutions to the recurring clashes between herdsmen and their host communities. Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, in a meeting with representatives of various groups of herdsmen operating in Enugu, reawakened their consciousness on the importance of maintaining peaceful coexistence between herdsmen and their host communities. Again, Ijoma Agweke reports.
Following the persistent clashes between farmers and cattle rearers, which had most times resulted in loss of lives and property in different communities in the state, Governor Ugwuanyi in September 2016 inaugurated the State Security and Peace Committee. The governor, represented by the Special Advisor to the Governor on Security Matters, Brigadier General Fred Eze, retired, noted that this period is when they migrate to other areas and therefore should be mindful of the agreement they had with state government concerning grazing at night.
Out of experience, we have come up with some issues which we discussed with them. I believe we'll have a better result.
The representative of the Mieti Allah Cattle Breeders Association, while acknowledging the state government's efforts towards ensuring peaceful coexistence, promised that the leadership will resolve the issue permanently. The representative of the traditional rulers, Igwe Ema Ugu, said the state government is committed to issues bordering security and urged the herdsmen and farmers to embrace the spirit of oneness and love. In Enugu, Ijomu Gweke, NTA News.
In order to encourage entrepreneurship among youth in Imo State, Governor Rochas Okorocha has presented checks of 1 million naira each to 305 youths. Sele Osaine reports that the beneficiaries who were emerged through balloting were drawn from the 27 local government areas of the state.
The gesture is a move by the Imo State government to ensure youth empowerment and also to minimize the poverty level in the state. Most of the beneficiaries intend to use the funds to grow their businesses, while others are to engage themselves in productive ventures. To ensure the state government's desire of taking the state to another level economically is achieved through the millionaires, they are to be mentored on the judicious use of the funds.
Have a clear mind, okay? We support you, don't be afraid of it. We will not be
Meanwhile, the check presented to Vivian Koyanyenchuku from Onimo was withdrawn by the state governor as she is a student in Owerri. Selo Sinde, NTA News.
We've done our bit here. It's back to you in Abuja for the continuation of Nationwide.
Thank you, Beauty. Well, up next is news across the globe, and Obiageli Ugwoke is our guide.
On this segment, we'll begin with South Africa's politics. South Africa's parliament and police are to provide security for an ANC MP after a number of death threats against her. Parliamentary spokesman Moloto Mothapo said the decision followed the security threat against Makosi Koza. Ms. Koza has been a prominent critic of President Jacob Zuma and corruption within the governing ANC party. And a group of global leaders working for peace and human rights founded by Nelson Mandela on July 18, 2007 has launched a global anti-hate campaign to mark the group's 10th anniversary and the birthday of South African freedom fighter Nelson Mandela. Moving on, the White House has confirmed that U.S. President Donald Trump and Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin had another undisclosed conversation at this month's G20. The two leaders' relationship is under scrutiny amid allegations of Russian interference in the U.S. election. U.S. intelligence agencies believe Moscow tried to tip the election in Mr. Trump's favor. Meanwhile, the head of France's armed forces has quit after a clash with President Emmanuel Macron over budget cuts. France's government last week reviewed major cuts to bring its budget deficit below the level of an EU cap, which is not acceptable to General Pierre de Villiers. The UN Refugee Agency has issued warning against the number of deaths on migrant routes from Libya to Italy. The agency said its statistics has revealed that migrant death is increasing and that traffickers are becoming ever more ruthless. It therefore demands $420 million to stop people risking their lives on the Mediterranean crossing. The migrant story concludes this segment. The news continues.
And Ministry of Youth Sports Development to conduct by-elections into athletics, judo, taekwondo, weightlifting, rugby and gymnastics as Arsenal beats Bayern Munich in China. And Manzi Marcus has our sports update.